Today we're going to talk about nonverbal communication.
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 Today we're going to talk about nonverbal communication. Today we're going to be talking about nonverbal communication. F.L. Mendel describes nonverbal communication as nonverbal behavior includes all communicative acts except for speech. First, we're going to talk about vocalics. Vocalic cues include tone, volume, articulation, pitch, rate of speech, and use of silence. Louis Hinkle, author of Perceptions of Supervisor Nonverbal Immediacy, Vocalic and Subordinate Liking, states, children's preferences for one teacher over another were affected by the teacher's vocalic cues. These findings emphasize the familiar notion that nonverbal characteristics of a speaker's voice influences how his listeners perceive him. This is vocalics. Action!
You're goddamn right. I drive a Prius.
You're goddamn right, I drive a Prius.
You're goddamn right. I drive a Prius. You're goddamn right. I drive a Prius.
Here we go. Our second type of nonverbal communication is called kinesics. Jolly Stephen quotes, kinesics specifically as the study of body motion as related to the nonverbal aspects of interpersonal communication. It's the study of body movement, including postures and gestures. This is kinesics. Next, we have the nonverbal communication aspect of proxemics. Proxemics refers to the study of how people use space in relation to the other person when they talk. Carlos Slutsky defines proxemics as the interrelated observations and theories of man's use of space as a specialized elaboration of culture. Basically, how far apart we are when we communicate. This is proxemics. Hey man, how's it going? I got this rash I need you to check out. Hey man, how's it going? I got this rash I need you to check. Hey man, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
I have this rash I need you to check out. Lastly, we're going to talk about facial expressions. The nonverbal code that is important to study is the face. Jarian Stout and David De Kramer argue facial expressions of emotion moderate verbal communication in social dilemmas. Facial expressions are something that we all use, and they're face movements used to portray emotion. This is facial expressions. The movements you make with your hands and arms, talking with your hands. Anthony Kong defines gestures as Gestures refer to the arm and hand movements that synchronize with speech. They are commonly used together with spoken language and human communication. Hand gestures, facial gestures, bodily movements. This is gestures. You ready?
Go.
Bro, so I went to this new sandwich shop called Fred's Big Salami. And
I've heard of Fred's Big
dude,
Salami.
they had this sandwich. It was so big. Like literally, like you got your foot long, you got like your witch sandwich at
My
the
sandwiches
cheap
are-
crap.
I like them about that long.
Yeah, but like this sandwich, it was freaking like that big.
Was
Like
it?
you had to two-hand that thing, and it had the big meatballs. Like freaking,
Oh,
there were like
man.
9 meatballs in that thing. When I ate that thing, you had to like kind of like,
And
like
then
if this
you
is
gotta
like,
grab the
you had to like,
meatballs as
ooh,
they're-
you gotta like slide it all in. Like that sandwich was so big. He put a little of that cheese all over
Oh,
that
yeah,
bad
it's
boy,
dripping all
and
over
it's
you,
just,
all over your
it's
face.
just dripping
It's
all
like-
over
it's
this.
just, like,
It's just
everywhere.
everywhere. I'm just
You're
like
just
covered,
covered in
and I'm eating
meatballs
that
and-
sandwich, and I'm like, just don't
Right
choke.
down your throat.
Just, oh, it was such a
Never
good.
Open it up.
I'll tell you what, I'll definitely hit up his salami again. That was a good sandwich.
I did a Fred for some salami.
Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about nonverbal communication.